If you're anything like me, I spent years trying to get rid of the ego, to really just kill it, if you will. Because I thought the ego, which I really didn't understand, was the culprit, the core of my issues that I was going through in life. I thought that being on the spiritual path meant I had to rid myself of my ego, whatever that was, right? And I didn't understand. I didn't understand. Maybe you don't either. And that is why I made this video and this series where I cover spiritual BS concepts, notions, and ideas, which I seek to uncover for us all together. And because these concepts, really, these ideas that we take to heart on the spiritual path, good meaning as they may be, can often be misleading, can often cause us to misstep in the wrong direction and thus prolong the unnecessary suffering that we go through. So, for this video, I want to talk about ego and ego death. So first of all, I want to cover what the ego actually is, because for many years I didn't know. You know, I grew up in schools and stuff like this, and people said, well, this guy has an egoic attitude, or he's egoic for this and that reason. And I thought it was a sort of behavioral trait, or like a part of psychology, or a way of being. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was perhaps a personality trait, or the personality itself. And so really what ego means, from my understanding at least, is the idea of who you think you are. The idea of who you think you are. Because the truth is, you're not an idea. You are not a thought. The thought of who you are can never be who you are, because you're aware of the thoughts itself. So to define yourself by the belief in a thought is always going to be a limitation imposed upon the awareness that we essentially are. So, it is clear to many people, I'm sure, that yes, the strong belief or the conviction in some idea of ourselves which isn't really serving, which is causing these hang-ups in our lives and really not allowing us to feel the fulfillment, the vibrance, the peace and happiness that we innately are, and that is available right now. That yes, that can be a source of suffering, that can be something that we then desire to rid ourselves of. But the key is the understanding. We don't get anywhere by adopting this thought. This is important. By adopting the thought that we have to get rid of another thought. Because as we establish, the thought or the belief of who we think we are is a thought. Let's call it thought A. And on behalf of thought A arises thought B, which seeks to get rid of thought A. But we're still in the game of thinking. Is that clear? We're still in the game of thinking, and you can't solve a problem at the level at which the problem arose. So, instead of trying to rid ourselves of the ego, instead of trying to take psychedelics or whatever to kill the ego, to enter ego death, if you will, we need to understand what the ego is, as I have already elaborated, and then with that understanding we can begin to question, contemplate, inquire into and meditate upon what we essentially are in truth. Because that is where we need to emphasize our attention. What is the point of fixating your attention on illusory notions when resting your attention in the truth of your being is all that is necessary to free yourself of illusion? And in fact, you can't kill the ego. The mind has this tendency to always want to grasp, to always want to believe in or to construct thought structures of or about something. That is the nature of the mind, and you can't take the nature of the mind out of the mind. You simply need to understand this mechanism, this function. You need to understand that it is necessary to some degree to be able to operate in this world. It serves a purpose. The only issue really is when we believe it so strongly that we don't see ourselves in the grand scheme of things. We don't see ourselves as that in which these thoughts appear. Because when you know yourself to be the awareness, this larger space, not a container within, but which is the very activity of the mind itself. Because the mind, the thoughts don't have any reality of themselves. They appear in and is made of the same substance as you. And when you see that, there's no longer a need to fight, to get rid of, to change, to transmute into something more positive or that you desire from it. No. When you know there's no opposition, there's no need to resist. There's no need to cling or to fight. There is simply the allowance of what is. And so, with this, I want to inform you that if you're looking to deepen your insight even more, if you have some problems going on currently, I offer a spiritual life coaching program, which you'll find in the link down below, where I will stand ready with my undivided attention to assist you on your journey, wherever that may be. And so if you trust me, if you think that we are a good match, I urge you to check it out. And with that, I wish you all the absolute best. Take care.